Good morning. How you doing? So I wanted to do one of these walk and talk videos, and I'm gonna do two of them. I was gonna do one on the book of Jonah, but instead I decided that I'm gonna do this one first. I was gonna combine the two. This one's gonna be more political leaning than the other one. I was gonna combine them, but I don't think it's right to combine the Word of God with what I'm about to say. And obviously I'm going to keep it clean, because any of you who know me, I like to keep things in order and clean. So I'm watching last night an interview, and I'm talking about politics. I'm going to talk about the upcoming election somewhat. And I'm watching an interview last night. It's actually it was on Univision, which is the Spanish channel, if you don't know. And so I'm watching it, and it was Kamala Harris was being interviewed, and I'm not telling you which side to pick, whoever you want to pick, but she was being interviewed, and everybody in the audience, from what I took, the majority of them didn't speak English, because they stood up and they would ask her questions, and all the questions were posed in Spanish. And obviously there was a translator, and then she would answer and they would be translated back. And I'm reading some of the comments that the people put in this interview. And some of the people, they were putting, oh, these are patriotic Americans. So I'm like, I started thinking, I'm like, patriotic Americans? Now, I'm Cuban. I came from Cuba as a little boy. But I remember a lot, even coming here at an early age, I remember a lot of what it was like. And I visited, so I see what my family there still go through. And I see what communism can do. So as I'm reading these comments, and I start questioning, like, I've been in this country for 50 years, and I've come to know what it's like, or what it means to be a patriot, patriotic American. One who believes in, the cultural values of this country. One who puts this country first before anything. One who's going to do what is required to be successful in this country. And the first and most important thing that one needs to do when it comes to this country is learn the language. How can you assimilate? How can you claim to be part of something if you don't know the most basic thing, which is the language? And I see that, and I'm like, how can you say somebody who doesn't even speak English be patriotic? That's just my question, because a lot of people out there, and even Americans themselves, people who are Americans who were born here, they have no idea what it means to be patriotic. They don't have any idea of what our country is. We see so many politicians out there saying that they're fighting for democracy. And many Americans, like sheep, are buying into what they're saying. This country is not a democracy. If you know anything about this country, we are a republic, a constitutional republic, meaning that this country was founded based on the values that are instilled in the Constitution. We are a republic, not a democracy, if you look at it. So I just look, and I'm in awe of how amazed how many people don't even know that, the basics. And I want to be a patriotic American, but I need to know the Constitution. I need to know the laws of the country. I need to know my rights. I need to know how this country works, or should work, according to Bill of Rights and according to the Constitution. But many people don't know. So we see how they water both sides. I'm not just saying one side of the political aisle or the other. Both sides. How they water down what we're supposed to be. And it's gotten to a point where if you see the candidates that we have, neither one of them clearly states what their policies are. But instead, all they do is attack each other. All they do is It's like slinging mud at each other. That's the only thing that they're good for right now. And, you know, it's a real sad state that we've gotten to. And as I said to somebody just recently, I said, I can't wait for this election to be over. I can't wait, because it's really getting, you know, it's getting really bad. And I don't know where we're going to be in a month, 3 months technically, because, you know, the inauguration is not until January. But I don't know where we're going to be as a nation with either candidates. My own personal opinion, I think with one candidate we'll be in a better position than we are with the other one. I was born in a communist nation. I know what communism is. My dad, bless his soul, his whole life always made sure to remind me and to teach me what communism is. My dad was born and raised in the Cuba where they had independence, where they had freedom. He was a teenager, a young man in the heydays of Cuba, when all the Americans used to go to Havana and party. And, you know, if you ever watch The Godfather and you see the scene in Cuba, that's what it was like. Okay, the partying and the people having a good time and people having things. And, you know, when Castro came in, he took over. So I see what communism is like. I've read a lot on communism. If you want, the Epoch Time has this 3-book volume called The Specter of Communism. The specter's a ghost, you know, an evil spirit. And as I was reading through this a couple of years ago, I was in shock, because everything that I've read through the books, especially in the first volume, I see it clearly coming to fruition in this country. How it talks about indoctrinating the youth first in the universities, in the colleges, and even in, you know, in communist Russia, they tell you that's how they started. And I see it happening in this nation. And people are blind and they don't see it. And I see also that one particular party is leaning more that way than the other. And it's very frightening how so many people are supporting this candidate, which how this candidate came to be is just another question in itself, because they just did away with how the election process goes. This person did not win a single vote, did not get a single vote to become the candidate of her party. They installed her, they put her in. That's not how democracy works. Well, not democracy, that's not how our Constitution works. And people are okay with this. And they're so blinded, they have so much hate and so much anger towards the other person that they don't care. They don't care, you know, if they have to chop off their right hand, they don't want this guy in, okay? So they're blinded. And again, I'm not 100% happy with Trump, but, you know, he's the lesser of two evils. And I know people say, and I've said I'm guilty of myself of saying it, and I've changed my mind on it in the last couple of weeks. He's the lesser of two evils. And I've said, why should I have to choose evil at all? Well, you choose the lesser or the greater. Because if you don't choose, the greater is going to be chosen for you. So as I think about this, and I'm like, where's this nation going? And I'm at the point where I know that the only one I can save, not just this nation, but the whole world, is Jesus Christ. I wear this shirt. The reason I did this video is because I pulled this shirt out of my closet because the weather's getting colder now. And I said, you know what, let me do a video on that, because I try to stay away from the politics on my channel as much as I can. I think I've posted maybe 2 or 3 videos at most in the 3 years I've been doing this on politics. But I'm going to encourage everybody that I know to go vote. My whole family. They usually don't, some of them, but I'm going to tell them, if you don't want it to be how it was when we were young in Cuba, when our parents, were adults having 8 children, trying to take care of them with nothing. If you don't want it to be like that, you need to go vote. If not, it's going to be forced on you. And The thing about Americans that make me laugh is that the majority of them will sit there and say, oh, not here. That'll never happen here. That'll never happen here. Well, guess what? My father and his generation said the same thing about Cuba. That'll never happen here. And what happened? You know, I watch the news sometimes and I see people being interviewed when there's like a killing or there's a huge fire or something tragic happens in their neighborhood. And I watch the reporters interviewing them. The majority of times, the answer that I hear or the comment that I hear is, things like that never happen here. Not in this neighborhood. We never thought this would happen here. And well, guess what? It happened. So unless people wake up and make a choice and they choose rightly, because I feel that either way, we're gonna we're heading down a really slippery slope. But I think that with one candidate, that person is just going to throw some grease on that slope, but we're going to slide down much quicker. So anyway, that's my rant, my political rant. Now look forward to my next video, which I'm going to do it on Jonah. And I have a question for you guys there. So God bless you.